Christmas and happy holidays. Well, some people say happy, but Happy New Year. I guess that's correct.
Yeah, Happy New Year is correct.
Happy New Year. Welcome to a special edition, holiday edition of Super Dave Reigns and the Big Show on Big Show Entertainment Network. I'm joined by Generally Nerdy Dustin James of Generally Nerdy.
Yeah, that works.
So we're here to talk about Soul and WW84. And if you don't know what that is, that's Wonder Woman 84. So I guess Super Dave Reigns and the Big Show and Generally Nerdy have finally succumbed to Zoom meeting.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the format might look a little weird for anybody who's watched the show previously because we're not in the same room. We always try and do these together. Unfortunately, that is not an ability that we have for these for multiple reasons, not the least of which being the holidays. So, Merry late Christmas, Happy early New Year, and this is Wonder Woman 1984 versus Soul on Wonder Woman on HBO Max and Soul on Disney Plus. By the end of this, our goal is to give you our recommendation as to which of these, if you can only watch one, which of these that one should be. So let's cut to the intro real quick there, Super Dave, and then we'll talk a little bit more about this. Agreed?
Agreed. Awesome.
Beautiful. Okay, so first things first. I was gonna suggest a trailer talk, like we kind of started doing right before everything shut down, where we talked briefly about the trailers for this movie. But I was trying to think. I didn't see. I mean, like we can talk about stuff we've seen on YouTube, I guess. But I feel like that's just a little silly. So let's just jump right into Wonder Woman, since that's the one we both watched first, right? You watched Wonder Woman first as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say happy birthday to Kayla McConnell, COO of Black Lion Endeavors Corporation, the parent company of Big Show Entertainment Network, BEN LLC. Yes, Big Show Entertainment Network is its own LLC. So happy birthday, Kayla.
Happy birthday, Kayla.
Absolutely. So actually, Dustin,
yes,
there was a trailer for Wonder Woman 1984, and the day before or hours before the movie was actually live on HBO Max, they showed you the first 3 minutes of the movie.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So,
but when we were in theaters, though, we were starting to talk about the trailers that were playing before the movie. You know what I mean? So trailers for other movies, which we could probably go look up 4 or 5 on YouTube and briefly talk about those. But that's just a waste of our time. We already have a lot to cover here. So
yeah, absolutely. And I will, as far as trailers go, unfortunately, with Wonder Woman 1984, WW84, directed by Patty Jenkins. She returns for her second swing at Wonder Woman from the 2017 Wonder Woman, which I believe really saved DC and Warner Brothers. But something happened along the way between the first Wonder Woman in 2017, which a lot of people, had a lot of issues with the third act and the way that I believe it was Ares and his look, and I get all that. Yeah. But overall, that was a really solid film.
Yes, very much, especially considering the DCEU up to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I had it second behind Man of Steel, which I still absolutely love.
Yeah, that makes one of us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I love Man of Steel. Superman's my favorite superhero.
Right.
I think it was a really good movie. And after seeing Wonder Woman 84, Man of Steel is still the best of the DCEU, or whatever you want to call it, of all of the movies they've made so far. I will say this. One of my issues with Wonder Woman 84, and I have plenty, is, Patty Jenkins is a huge Superman fan. She's a huge Christopher Reeve fan. I like Christopher Reeve.
I remember her saying that, yeah.
But my deal is I like Henry Cavill as Superman over Christopher Reeves. I know everybody's going to lose their mind, but I just think he fits the part better physically, and he's a very good actor. Now, one of the problems with Henry Cavill is he's not endured to the fans, because he's like, well, I'm leaving. No, I'm staying. Oh, they can convince me. Come on, man. But anyway, back to Wonder Woman 84, directed by Patty Jenkins, starring Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, yeah. Excuse me. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Diana Prince. Also Pedro Pascal, who plays Max Lord. You know him as the Mandalorian, Din Djarin. And then we have...
Or the Prince of Poisons from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Prince of Poison, Game of Thrones. And then we have someone I really love a lot, Kristen Wiig, who plays Barbara Minerva and Cheetah. I think she's really funny. I really do enjoy her. Unfortunately, for this particular film, it's almost like she was an afterthought. And I've got some, some parallels to how they flipping some things around. I did catch Angry Joe, his review, and then what's his name? I can't think of it. Stuckman, thank you. Chris Stuckman, who had a pretty good review, very similar to what, we're very similar to in the grades, and I'll get into that later. But couple of things. Number one, the opening scene really didn't have anything to do with the rest of the movie.
No, not at all. That was one of my big complaints too. It's your friendly. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do 17 things at once. So pardon me, viewers, if I stumble a little bit. But it's friendly neighborhood Wonder Woman. like if this was a Spider-Man movie, that would the opening of this movie would make a lot more sense. But it's not. Right. It's Wonder Woman.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're going to have an opening scene like that, it needs to reconnect somewhere later in the movie.
Yeah, there needs to be payoff.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to, okay, this is a lesson, and this is going to come back later in the movie as to why she learned that particular lesson at the time. It did not. In fact, I think one of the issues I have with this movie is, taken as a whole, the editing and the way that they put it together, scene by scene, none of it connected. None of it connected. It's like you had a bunch of puzzle pieces and none of them fit together, but they're supposed to fit together.
There was one minor exception to that, and I feel like it was Patty Jenkins and whoever the writing staff was trying to show you that they could do that, but then it got completely, they never did it again. And the one example is not a very good example. It's so the scene with Cheetah where she's talking about how she's no good in heels and blah blah blah, and then the very next scene, after she's started receiving powers from the stone, she starts I'm trying to remember exactly what happens. So she trips or something, and something was gonna fall on her, and she catches her balance, and then continues walking, and somebody makes a comment, "Oh, it's a good thing you're so good in heels." I was like, oh, if you have to call it out like that, it's not a good connection.
Yeah, that was really poor. I mean, it's like giving the punchline.
The punchline before the joke.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, I don't want to. I'm not going to lose my thought because there's a couple of things I really don't like about this. And you know what really hurts me is I really pumped up Patty Jenkins. I really did. After she did the first Wonder Woman, man, she was my director. You know, I really pumped her up and commended her for the work she did in Wonder Woman, and she really did let us down. But I will say this about Cheetah and the introduction of Cheetah, and then the reintroduction of Steve Trevor, which we did need to have that. There was no reason,
no, absolutely no reason
Steve
for that.
Trevor or Chris Pine in this movie, unless it's contractual. But it really didn't make any sense.
Well, so
he died in the last movie.
Right.
The romance is over. Let's move on. We don't need him in this movie. She can. Gal Gadot can handle this movie on her own. She didn't need Chris Pine or Steve Trevor, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh well, she needs a guy, so let's put him back in there. And
so from a storytelling standpoint, I feel like there is a valid argument to bring him back because it takes the fish out of water elements from the first movie and reverses them. So now he's the fish out of water and she's the one that has to explain it to him. So there's that. There's also the payoff. That's another payoff of her taking her wish back because she has to give up the one thing in this world that she wants the most. But I agree with you in that there's nothing that tells us, except for the script telling us that the one thing in this world that she wants the most is the return of Steve Trevor. Like, that kind of undermines this girl power character to such a crazy degree. It baffles my mind that she kept it in the script.
Yeah, it goes against everything Wonder Woman represents in my mind. Secondly, she's been in the world after him for how many years? I don't know.
It's been since World War I, so long damn time.
A long damn time. So
80 years, I think, is what they say specifically in the movie.
So 80 years, you didn't find something to replace Steve Trevor? You didn't move on at all in 80 years? I find that a little perplexing. But let me not forget my point on Cheetah and the introduction of Cheetah. They really should have reversed it, okay? Instead of
How do you mean? What do you mean reversed it?
Well, or at least played it different, the introduction of Cheetah and her powers. I would have liked it if they'd have just gone along with a Dark Knight introduction. Because in Dark Knight, the Joker just kind of showed up.
Oh, you're talking... Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
I was fine with that. Why not have that be for Cheetah? Don't tie her powers to the wish. Just have her show up.
That's something that really bothered me with the creation of this character too, because living in the social climate we live in right now, there's already a number of things that this movie was supposed to do according to certain people's agendas. And I'm not going to get too political, but one of those things is girl power.
No, I will.
When one of those things is girl power, which we've already established how the movie undermines that mentality. The other thing is in our social media, how we are re-racing a lot of characters and we are trying to un-whitewash a lot of characters and things like this. The character of Barbara Minerva is kind of a whitewashed version of Cheetah. So for those that don't know, this version of Cheetah, she does start off as a white woman, so I guess that's not really too crazy. But she gets the power of Cheetah from an African country. There's a goddess, protector of the realm or something like that bestows Barbara with these powers, and she channels her power through Barbara, and that's how Barbara gets her powers. And because it's magic related, that's why she can defeat Wonder Woman, is because that's Wonder Woman's weakness, is magic.
Yeah, exactly.
So all of this is very much well established in comic book canon and in the animated movies canon and in the video game canon. Like, this is not something that fans are unaware of. Even casual fans are unaware of. And what they did was they took this really soft-spoken white woman who works in a museum restoring artifacts, and they made her want to be this other attractive white woman, and so she wishes for it, and that's how she gets these back. That's the most ridiculous retcon of superpowers I think I've seen since Wolverine Origins. That was absolutely garbage.
It was complete garbage.